Once in a small village nestled by the foot of a great mountain, there lived a young man named Taro. He was a diligent student, known for his unwavering commitment to studying. Yet Taro felt burdened by the long hours he spent studying, which didn't translate into results he desired. He found it difficult to focus and retain information, leading him to question his methods. One day, Taro's attention was caught by an old monk from a nearby Zen monastery. The monk, Master Daisuke, was renowned for his wisdom and sharp focus, a man whose mind was as calm as a still lake, yet agile like a leaping cat. Taro thought to himself, if I could just grasp a fraction of his focus, I could study better, in less time. So Taro mustered the courage and approached Master Daisuke, expressing his challenges. The monk looked at Taro, his eyes gleaming with a gentle understanding. He invited Taro to stay at the monastery for a few weeks, to which the young man happily agreed, hoping to unearth the secret to Master Daisuke's focus. Upon reaching the monastery, Taro was immediately put to work. To his surprise, instead of getting immediate tips on focus and studying, he found himself engaged in daily chores such as sweeping the monastery floors, washing the dishes, and even tending to the monastery garden. The chores seemed endless, and Taro felt frustrated, but he held on, trusting Master Daisuke. One day, while he was watering the plants, he noticed how they responded to his care. They grew greener, stronger, and even bloomed under his diligent attention. That's when Master Daisuke approached him and asked, "Taro, how did you help these plants to grow so beautifully?" Taro, surprised by the question, replied, "By giving them my full attention, Master. By watering them, ensuring they get enough sunlight and are free from pests." Master Daisuke smiled. "Just as these plants require your full attention to flourish, so do your studies. When you read a paragraph or solve a problem, give it your full attention. Make your focus unwavering like the sun's rays nurturing the plants. The more focused you are, the less time you need to understand and learn." Taro absorbed the lesson, applying it to his studies. He started reading with full focus, allowing no distractions to hamper his attention. To his surprise, he began to understand and retain more information in significantly less time. This was his first lesson in focus, and it transformed his approach to studying. Weeks passed, and while Taro's focus improved, he still felt a certain restlessness within him, a sense of urgency that distracted him during his studies. He discussed this with Master Daisuke, who proposed a solution. The next day, Taro was handed a small, delicate teacup, filled to the brim. His task was to carry the cup from one end of the monastery to the other, without spilling a drop. With each drop spilled, Taro had to start again. This exercise frustrated him initially, but over time, he realized he could only accomplish the task by calming his mind, by moving with deliberate calmness and steadiness. Master Daisuke explained, "Our mind is like this cup of tea, Taro. If we rush, if we let urgency and haste take over, we are bound to spill our thoughts. However, when we calm our mind, we steady our thoughts. The calmer your mind is, the more focused you will be, and the more you can absorb in your studies." Taro understood. He learned to calm his mind, to quell the waves of urgency and haste that threatened his focus. His mind, now steadier, could focus more deeply, allowing him to grasp complex concepts and ideas with more ease and in less time. On the final day, Master Daisuke revealed the most vital part of this journey, the essence of all lessons. While Taro was practicing his calligraphy, Daisuke interrupted him. "Taro, what is the purpose of your studies?" Taro looked puzzled. "To learn, to gain knowledge, Master." Master Daisuke smiled. "Yes, but remember, the aim of all learning is to understand and apply, not to cram and forget. When you study, seek to understand, to comprehend. That's how you truly learn. Don't race against time. Rather, make time your ally. And remember, there's no end to learning." Taro took these words to heart. From that day forward, he studied not just to memorize, but to understand. His studying hours reduced significantly, yet his comprehension and retention improved. Taro realized the path to effective studying wasn't about rushing or cramming, but about the quality of focus, calmness of mind, and the intent to understand. Thus, this journey with Master Daisuke transformed Taro from a stressed student into a focused learner. The lessons he learned, the wisdom he received served as not just study tips but life principles, steering him towards the essence of learning and understanding. Taro's tale is a testament to the fact that the key to increased focus and effective studying lies in the calmness of mind, quality of focus, and understanding the purpose of learning, principles found in the wisdom of Zen. Hey friends, what an incredible journey we've just been on with Taro and Master Daisuke. There are so many valuable lessons we can learn from this story and apply to our own lives. Firstly, it's all about focus. The same way Taro nurtured those plants, we should treat our tasks and responsibilities with undivided attention. Whether it's studying, working, or even doing chores, let's be present. The secret to doing more in less time is to give our full attention to one thing at a time. That way, we can ensure we're absorbing and learning effectively. But how do we achieve this level of focus? The story provides an answer: by calming our mind. Remember Taro's struggle with the teacup? It teaches us to tame our restlessness and take our time. If you find yourself rushing through tasks, take a moment to slow down and breathe. Try some mindfulness exercises or even meditating to help steady your mind. Finally, let's talk about the purpose of learning. Master Daisuke reminded Taro, and by extension us, that the aim of all learning is to understand and apply, not to cram and forget. This approach requires us to change our mindset. Instead of racing against the clock, let's use time as our ally. When we study or learn something new, let's delve deeper into it, to comprehend and grasp the essence of it. So how do we make this practical? Start by applying these principles to your daily routine. Each day, choose one task and give it your full attention. Practice calming your mind, perhaps with a few minutes of meditation. And when you sit down to study or work, shift your focus from completion to comprehension. Every story we share on this channel is designed to inspire and help you in your journey. If you found this story and its insights helpful, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. We have plenty of enriching content on the way, and we can't wait to share it with you. Let's continue learning, growing, and focusing together. Stay tuned for more, and remember, the journey is just as important as the destination. Keep growing, keep learning.
John was living what some might call the American dream. At 30, he was a successful salesman in a prominent tech company. He had a spacious house in the suburbs, a loving wife, and 2 beautiful children. However, despite this picture-perfect life, he felt a void inside him, an unshakable feeling of dissatisfaction. His work felt monotonous, and his days were defined by a mechanical routine that offered him no joy. A chance encounter at a local diner one day offered him a new perspective. He met an elderly man named Samuel, a retired military officer with an air of tranquility around him. Samuel's calmness and contentment, despite his advancing years and the wear and tear of wartime experiences, intrigued John. His curiosity piqued, John found himself drawn towards the older man, eagerly seeking his company. Their chance encounter turned into regular meetings filled with hearty conversations and life lessons. Samuel was a stoic. He spoke of a philosophy that had guided him through life's ups and downs, through the turbulence of war and personal loss. He introduced John to the concept of stoicism, explaining how he'd used its principles to navigate his trials. Samuel spoke passionately about the power of the mind and its role in our reaction to life's challenges. The idea that life wasn't about what happened to him, but how he responded to it, resonated deeply with John. He found himself hungry for this knowledge, this unique perspective that seemed to promise a sense of control and peace. Eager to delve deeper into Stoicism, John asked Samuel to teach him. Samuel agreed, but his methods were far from conventional. Instead of providing textbooks or lectures, he set out practical challenges for John, designed to shift his mindset and empower his thinking. The first challenge was to refrain from complaining for an entire week. This task seemed straightforward, yet John quickly realized how frequently he complained about trivial inconveniences like traffic, his job, and even the weather. As the week progressed, he found a significant shift in his attitude. He was less irritable, more patient, and found a lightness he hadn't felt in a long time. Next, Samuel asked John to identify 5 things he was grateful for every morning. Initially, John struggled with this task. He had spent so much time focusing on the negatives that spotting the positives took conscious effort. But as he persisted, he began to see his life from a new perspective. His high-pressure job became a source of livelihood. His morning traffic jams turned into his solitude time, and his busy schedule was a reflection of a life filled with love and responsibility. The following task was confronting a fear. John had always feared rejection, and the idea of it kept him from sharing his innovative ideas at work. Samuel challenged John to present a new marketing strategy to his team. The thought was terrifying, but John took the plunge. His idea was not only accepted but applauded. Facing his fear gave him a sense of accomplishment and confidence he had never known. Days turned into weeks, then into months, and each day brought a new challenge from Samuel. Each task nudged John out of his comfort zone, compelling him to introspect, question his beliefs, and embrace change. Through these challenges, John learned to control his reactions, find peace amidst chaos, and focus on the aspects of life he could control while letting go of those he couldn't. After several months, the changes in John were profound. He still had the same job, lived in the same house, but his outlook on life had fundamentally shifted. He no longer felt like he was being swept along by the current of life. Instead, he was steering his own ship. His happiness stemmed from within, not from his external circumstances. His life was the same, but the way he lived it was unrecognizable. One day, Samuel didn't show up at the diner. After a few days, John found out that he had passed away peacefully. A profound sense of loss was coupled with deep gratitude. Samuel had passed on to him an invaluable gift, the gift of mental resilience. John continued practicing the Stoic philosophy, applying it in his daily life and sharing the wisdom he had learned. He became a source of motivation for his colleagues, friends, and family, influencing lives just as Samuel had influenced his. From the story of John and his journey of self-discovery, we can glean several lessons and insights. This story reveals that regardless of our circumstances, it's our reactions to those circumstances that truly matter. Stoicism teaches us the power of perspective, self-discipline, and inner peace. Many of us, like John, may find ourselves trapped in a cycle of dissatisfaction, failing to see the potential for happiness and contentment within our current situation. We must remember that it's not the events of our life that distress us, but our interpretation of these events. Stoicism challenges us to shift our perspective and view life's obstacles as opportunities for growth. Practical application of these insights requires conscious effort. Here are a few tips on how to incorporate these lessons into your life. Firstly, try to spend a week without complaining about anything, big or small. Notice the shift in your mood and your outlook on life. When we stop complaining, we begin to break away from negative thinking patterns and cultivate a more positive mindset. Secondly, practice gratitude. Start each day by noting down 5 things you're grateful for. It might seem difficult at first, but with time you'll find yourself viewing your life through a lens of gratitude. This simple exercise can dramatically change your perspective and increase your overall sense of happiness and contentment. Lastly, face your fears. Identify something that scares you and confront it. Just like John did with his fear of rejection, facing our fears head-on can lead to incredible personal growth and build confidence. Remember, courage isn't the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. Adopting these practices can bring about substantial positive changes in your life. They can help you develop resilience, find contentment, and empower your mind. Just like John, we all have the potential to steer our own ships, to cultivate inner happiness, and to become masters of our lives rather than victims of our circumstances. Thank you for listening to this story and engaging with its lessons. If you found it inspiring and want to hear more content like this, please do like and subscribe to the channel. Remember, each one of us has the potential to transform our lives, to build mental resilience, and empower our minds. So, let's embark on this journey together. Stay tuned for more stories, more insights, and more inspiration. Let's walk this path of self-discovery and resilience together. See you in the next video. In the ancient and prosperous province of Zhongyuan, a young man named Jing lived amid the hustle and bustle of a thriving city. He was a trader, caught in a vortex of commerce, endless haggling and tireless negotiations. His life was a ceaseless carousel of making deals, of constantly looking back at past failures and fretting over future prospects. The relentless pursuit of profit and the unvarying nature of his days left him feeling hollow, lost, akin to a solitary leaf carried aimlessly by a tumultuous river. Jing's only source of wisdom and tranquility was his grandfather, the revered Elder Shun, a Taoist sage who had lived through the seasons of life. Elder Shun resided on the city's periphery, leading a life starkly different from Jing's. His life was rooted in simplicity and peace, in harmony with nature, a beacon of serenity amidst the city's chaos. During a particularly trying week, the weight of life's anxieties heavy on his shoulders, Jing decided to visit Elder Shun, hoping to glean some wisdom and find solace. Observing Jing's weary countenance, Elder Shun guided him to a tranquil pond nestled amongst lush foliage, where lotus flowers floated placidly. Elder Shun spoke with a voice as calm as the still water. "Jing, look at this water, so serene, so peaceful. It does not yearn for tomorrow, nor does it dwell on yesterday. It exists purely in the present. Yet a grave mistake is made by 99% of people." Puzzled, Jing questioned, "What mistake, grandfather?" Elder Shun, looking at the pond, replied, "The mistake of not living in the present." Gesturing towards a stone by the water's edge, he said, "Sit here, my boy. Be still, observe the surroundings, and endeavor to comprehend what it truly means to be present." Perplexed yet respectful, Jing obeyed. He sat by the pond, watching the lotus flowers gently bobbing on the water's surface, the tiny fish darting beneath in their own watery world, the moonlight casting a silver glow upon the water. As he observed, he felt a strange tranquility envelop him, a calm he had never experienced. This was Jing's first lesson in the art of presence. In the subsequent weeks, Jing strived to incorporate this newfound understanding into his life. He started truly listening to his clients instead of focusing solely on profits. He began appreciating the aroma and flavor of his food, the vibrancy of the city that he had always taken for granted. But the pressures of life soon pushed their way back into his consciousness, and Jing found himself back in the whirlwind of past regrets and future worries. Feeling defeated, Jing sought Elder Shun's wisdom once more. The sage, unfazed, offered understanding words. "The path to true understanding is a journey, Jing. For your next lesson, I have a practical task for you." Elder Shun presented Jing with a small, unassuming seed. "Plant this seed in your home. Take care of it, nurture it, observe its growth. Each interaction you have with this seed, make a conscious effort to exist entirely in that moment." With skepticism creeping in his heart, Jing followed Elder Shun's instruction. Each day, he nurtured the seed, making a deliberate effort to live in the moment, leaving behind the worries of his trading life. Weeks rolled by with no sign of life from the seed. Jing's patience wore thin, frustration was knocking at the door, but remembering his grandfather's serene eyes, he persevered. One ordinary day, as Jing was performing his ritual of watering the seed, he noticed a tiny green shoot pushing through the soil. The sight filled him with profound joy, and it dawned upon him that through caring for the seed, he had been fully absorbed in the present moment for weeks on end, without any conscious thought. As Jing continued to care for the sprouting plant, his understanding of the art of presence deepened. He realized it was not about evasion or disconnection from life or responsibilities, but about embracing each moment wholly, engaging fully in every task, every interaction, without the constant background noise of past failures or future anxieties. Impressed by Jing's progress, Elder Shun imparted the most critical lesson yet. "Now, Jing, it's time to apply this wisdom to every facet of your life, your trade, your dreams, your fears. Be entirely present with them. This is the essence of true living." Embracing this lesson, Jing discovered that although his life circumstances didn't change dramatically overnight, his experience and perception of life did. He learned to be wholly present, whether he was involved in a complex trade negotiation, dealing with a difficult client, or simply savoring his tea after a long day. Years later, Jing was not merely he realized that the most significant mistake 99% of people make is not being present, being lost in the thoughts of a future yet to come, or a past that is long gone. Jing discovered that the secret to contentment, to a life well lived, was akin to the serenity of the lotus pond, existing in harmony with the flow of life, fully experiencing each moment as it arrives. This was the core essence of Taoist philosophy that Elder Shun imparted to him, a wisdom as timeless as the Tao itself. The story of Jing and Elder Shun offers profound insights and timeless wisdom that we can apply to our daily lives. At its core, it illuminates the importance of living in the present moment, a principle often forgotten in our fast-paced, future-oriented world. Life has a peculiar way of making us worry about the future or regret the past. The young trader Jing, like many of us, found himself caught in this cycle of constant worry and regret. He was never truly present in the moment, always lost in the what-ifs and if-onlys. And that, as Elder Shun points out, is a mistake that 99% of people make, not being fully present. However, through deliberate practice and the simple act of caring for a seed, Jing discovered the transformative power of presence. He realized that being present doesn't mean avoiding life's responsibilities or challenges. Instead, it's about fully engaging in every task, every conversation, and every fleeting moment. So what practical steps can we take to be more present in our lives, just like Jing? 1. Mindfulness. Practice mindfulness in your daily activities. Whether it's eating, walking, or even working, try to focus entirely on the task at hand. Pay attention to your senses, the feel, the taste, the sounds. You'll be surprised at how this simple act can ground you in the present moment. 2. Meditation. Meditation can be an excellent tool to help calm your mind and anchor you in the now. Even a few minutes each day can make a significant difference. 3. Break from technology. In our hyper-connected world, it's easy to get lost in the virtual realm and lose touch with the present. Make a conscious effort to disconnect from your devices periodically, even if it's just for a short while each day. 4. Nature. Spend time in nature, just as Jing did by the lotus pond. The tranquility of nature has a way of bringing us back to the present. By incorporating these practices into our lives, we can begin to experience life as it truly is, not as we fear it might be or as we wish it were. Just as Jing discovered, the secret to contentment lies in living each moment fully. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you found value and wisdom in the story of Jing and Elder Shun. If you enjoyed this video and want to continue this journey of self-discovery and learning with us, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more enlightening content. Remember, just like Jing, each one of us can learn to live fully in the present. Once upon a time, in the serenity of a small secluded village in ancient China, lived a wise Zen master named Li. He was a well-respected figure in the community, but he had seen his share of suffering. In his youth, Li had faced many of the same struggles young men face today, feelings of hopelessness, disillusionment, and a profound sense of loss. However, through the teachings of Zen, Taoism, and Stoicism, he had found his path. This is his tale. As the sun began to set, the vibrant colors danced across the sky, casting long, somber shadows. Li was preparing his humble hut for the night when a young man named Yuan appeared at his doorstep. Yuan's face was a mirror of despair, with lines of worry and restlessness etched into his youthful features. He had been searching for answers, wandering without a destination. Li, with his perceptive eyes and wise heart, invited him inside. There was an understanding between them, a mutual language spoken in silence. Yuan found comfort in the presence of Li, and a glimmer of hope sparked in his heart. They spent the night in quiet companionship, the warmth of the flickering fire a contrast to the chill of the night. Li listened attentively as Yuan poured out his frustrations and fears, his dreams and desires. It was a deeply intimate moment, and Li could see a reflection of his past self in Yuan. As dawn approached, Li began to share his wisdom. He talked about his life, his struggles, his journey of transformation. He did not preach, but rather, he presented his life as an open book. He told Yuan about Zen, Taoism, and Stoicism, explaining how these philosophies had shaped his life. Li narrated a story from his youth when he felt directionless and hopeless. During that time, he came across a book of Zen teachings in an abandoned temple. The book held a simple message. In the present moment lies the essence of life. Past is an echo, future a mirage, but the present is real. Lee explained that embracing this philosophy was the key to his transformation. He started living in the present, focusing on what he could control and accepting what he couldn't. This simple act lifted the weight off his shoulders and illuminated his path. He also shared his understanding of Taoist teachings. He described Taoism as the flow of nature, the undercurrent that guides life. He told Yuan, "As a young man, I resisted this flow, battled against the current. But once I learned to swim with it, to embrace its rhythm, I discovered a profound peace." And finally, Lee shared his insights on stoicism. Stoicism teaches us to remain tranquil in the face of adversity. The world will always be in flux, filled with joy and sorrow, gain and loss. It is our response to these changes that determine our inner peace. Lee concluded his stories with a gentle smile, his eyes reflecting the calmness of a tranquil lake. Yuan listened, absorbing his words, letting them seep into his heart. He found a sense of calm, a feeling of reassurance. The words felt familiar, like the echo of a long-forgotten song. As the first rays of sun peeked over the horizon, painting the world in hues of gold, Yuan experienced a shift. It was subtle, almost imperceptible, yet it stirred a profound change within him. He looked at the world through new eyes, feeling a sense of connection, a sense of belonging. He realized that his feelings of hopelessness, his sense of loss, stemmed from his resistance to change, his longing for control. He understood that he had been seeking happiness in external circumstances, ignoring the peace that lay within. And so Yuan embarked on his journey, carrying the wisdom he had gained from Lee. He practiced mindfulness, staying present in each moment. He learned to flow with life, accepting its ebbs and flows. He cultivated inner tranquility, reacting to changes with calmness and poise. The transformation was not immediate, nor was it easy. It required patience and persistence, courage and commitment. But with every step, Yuan found himself closer to peace, closer to his true self. As time passed, Yuan found his purpose, his direction. He learned to cherish the present, to swim with the current, to remain tranquil amidst chaos. And in doing so, he discovered a profound sense of joy, a deep-seated peace. His journey was not overnight, but it felt like a rebirth, a transformation. And so, Lee's story, his wisdom, spread like a ripple in a pond, reaching hearts, transforming lives. His tale is not just a testament to his transformation, but a beacon of hope, a guiding light for those who are lost. Remember, it is okay to feel lost, to feel hopeless. But within you lies the power to transform, to find your path. Embrace the present, flow with life, remain tranquil amidst changes. This is the essence of Zen, Taoism, and Stoicism, the key to transformation, the path to hope. As we take a moment to reflect on Master Lee's story, we can extract a wealth of wisdom to guide us through life's ups and downs. Lee's journey highlights three main philosophies: Zen Buddhism's emphasis on living in the present moment, Taoism's teaching to flow with the natural rhythm of life, and Stoicism's call to maintain tranquility amidst adversity. These are powerful tools for transforming our mindset and our lives. Let's start with the Zen philosophy of embracing the present. Many of us, like Yuan, often find ourselves trapped in the past or anxiously anticipating the future. By anchoring ourselves in the present, we reclaim our power and control. A practical way to apply this is through mindful meditation. Try to dedicate at least 10 minutes a day to sit in silence, focus on your breath, and observe your thoughts without judgment. Moving on to Taoism, we learn the power of going with the flow. Resistance to change often leads to frustration and unhappiness. Start by identifying areas in your life where you resist or fear change. Make it a daily practice to affirm that you are open to the natural course of life, knowing that everything happens in its own perfect time. Finally, Stoicism teaches us to maintain calm amidst life's storms. While we cannot control external circumstances, we can control our reactions. Developing emotional resilience can be as simple as reminding ourselves of this fact whenever we face adversity. Take a step back, breathe, and ask yourself, can I change this? If not, how can I adapt to it? Our journey through life is a continuous process of growth and transformation. We might stumble, we might falter, but remember, as Master Lee's story has shown us, even in the face of despair, there is hope. Every challenge presents an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to transform. By applying these lessons from Zen, Taoism, and Stoicism, you can cultivate inner peace and resilience, transforming not just your perspective, but your reality. So why not start today? Begin your journey, embrace the present, flow with life, and stay tranquil amidst changes. If you found this content valuable and inspiring, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Join us in our journey as we continue to uncover wisdom and lessons that can help guide and uplift us. Remember, no matter where you are in your journey, transformation is possible, and it begins with a single step. So let's take that step together. Stay tuned for more enriching content, and remember, you have the power to transform your life overnight, just like Yuan.
In the quiet town of Avondale, Arizona, a peculiar little shop stood tucked away on El Mirage Street. Aptly named the Silent Brew, it was a haven for coffee lovers and those who found solace in silence. The owner, Eli, was a retired speech therapist with a passionate interest in human relationships. He decided to run a silent cafe after realizing the potential silence had in fostering deeper connections. Eli was convinced that silence was the foundation of communication, and his shop was a testament to that belief. There were 5 regulars in Eli's shop: Martin, a reserved, middle-aged lawyer who liked his coffee black; Lily, a spry octogenarian with a penchant for herbal tea; Rachel, a vibrant young woman who was studying for her doctorate; Marcus, a charismatic startup entrepreneur with a taste for the exotic; and finally, Jenny, a single mother and aspiring writer who found her inspiration in the shop's quiet ambience. Eli observed that, despite being regulars, the 5 customers never interacted much. They would greet each other, but promptly get lost in their own worlds. However, Eli believed in the power of silence to bring people together and decided to use his shop as a conduit. One day, Eli placed a sign on each table. It read, "For the next week, there will be no talking inside the cafe. Communicate with your silence." Customers were taken aback, some chuckled, others found it odd, but the regulars decided to humor Eli's whimsy. At first, the silence was deafening, and everyone felt a bit uncomfortable. Martin, usually immersed in his work, would occasionally glance at the others, curious about their reactions. Lily, no longer filling the shop with her lively stories, settled into her chair, silently sipping her tea. Rachel spent hours furiously jotting down notes, while Marcus found himself constantly checking his silenced phone, and Jenny was lost in her notebook, the nib of her pen scratching away in the deafening silence. A few days into Eli's experiment, something started to change. They began to notice each other's routines and habits. The silence amplified their awareness of the others around them. They observed Marcus tapping his fingers when he was thinking, Rachel's sighs of relief when she found something in her notes, Lily's content smile as she drank her tea, Martin's quiet chuckles while reading something on his laptop, and Jenny's furrowed brows when she was deep in thought. They were beginning to communicate with their silence. One particular day, the silent communication became more evident. Marcus arrived, his face drawn and eyes filled with worry. He ordered his usual and sat down, his fingers not drumming away as usual. The rest noticed his silence was different that day. Martin, without a word, slid a piece of dark chocolate, known to be Marcus's favorite, across the table. Rachel handed him a note with a funny doodle, and Lily reached out, giving his hand a reassuring squeeze. Jenny wrote a quick note. Whatever it is, it will pass. Marcus looked around at them, his eyes welling up, and gave a small nod. His silence had communicated his distress, and their silence had provided him comfort. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. The Silent Brew transformed from a silent coffee shop into a haven of unspoken camaraderie. Each day, the 5 regulars communicated through their actions, expressions, and gestures, building relationships that were deeper than those formed with words. One chilly winter evening, as they sat together, Rachel held up a piece of paper. It was her completed thesis titled, "The 5 Essential Habits for Strong Relationships. Communicate with Silence." They all looked at it, then at each other, and smiled. The silent journey they had undertaken together had not only fostered a deep bond between them, but it also helped Rachel complete her research. Their silence had told stories of empathy, compassion, understanding, shared joy, and shared sorrow. Eli looked on from the counter, a content smile on his face. His belief in the power of silence had transformed 5 strangers into a family. Their silent connection was a testimony to the essential habit that had fostered this bond. Their silence was their language, and in that language, they found understanding, comfort, and connection. In silence, they had found their strongest relationships. From the story of the silent brew, we saw that sometimes it's not just words that foster connections. It's also silence, patience, and keen observation. In this unique story, we witnessed 5 individuals who, without speaking a word, formed an understanding and a bond deeper than many that are built on countless conversations. Silence was their language, and through it, they communicated care, empathy, understanding, and solidarity. So how can we translate these learnings into our own lives? Firstly, observe more. In our day-to-day interactions, let's consciously be more observant. Recognize the nonverbal cues, the shifts in demeanor, the unspoken feelings that people around us may be expressing. Understanding often lies beyond words. Secondly, exhibit empathy. Once we have observed, let's respond. We can lend a listening ear, a comforting hand, a kind gesture. Small actions often speak louder than the most eloquent words. Thirdly, let's focus on being present. Our attention is the most significant gift we can offer to our relationships. Whether it's turning off mobile devices during meals or truly listening when someone speaks, let's fully engage in our interactions. Lastly, spend some time in silence every day. Silence helps us tune in to our own thoughts and feelings, and this self-awareness can better equip us to understand and empathize with others. In this ceaseless chatter of our busy lives, let's not forget the power of silence. It allows us to truly listen, understand, and build deeper connections. So, let's embrace the silence, and in it, find our way to more meaningful relationships. Thank you for spending your time with us today. If you found value in this video and would like to journey with us as we uncover more life lessons and insights, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Remember, every like, share, and comment goes a long way in supporting us and creating more of such content for you. So stay tuned, keep learning, keep growing. And as always, let's strive to build stronger and more meaningful relationships in our lives. See you in